Sharing today from the Kabbalah Center in honor of the soul of the Rav of the Kabbalah Center. When we do what the Creator wants, it is not the same thing as when the Creator does what we want or what we believe should be the reality. Being a husband, a wife, or a king and queen is only mutual externally. There's still a loneliness, never feeling equally, simultaneously, exactly the same way, even though there's a backdrop echo of the woman should be seen and not heard. I'm thinking of that from this woman, Monica Berg. She was saying that, it's just an echo of the past, right? And it can take years to manifest what we were given in previous experiences. Getting rid of ego is releasing the thought of what I should be doing and simply revealing more light. When we are so spiritual and wise, it isn't as important as committing to revealing light. Endless support comes then. Kol zman shehashen yitain kayach evod b'chol kochi u'mesiras nefesh. As long as the Creator gives strength, I'll work with all my strength and the giving of my soul. That's what the Rav used to say, Rav Berg from the Kabbalah Center. How someone moves around matters more than what they do or their title. The superpower is the certainty. And there's an impenetrable iron wall surrounding Kabbalah, even if superficially people are into the ideal, thinking of Rabbi Brandwein, Moshe, Arizal, Shimon Bar Yochai. Only later did it get out. Shimon Bar Yochai and Arizal buried their writings. It's not public mainstream. It's actually concealed. To change the world, we have to break the walls and the barriers. And for the Rav Berg, everyone was against his wedding to Karen Berg. And she said he was the most stubborn person. But the good side is to be relentless with purpose. Never give up, no matter how many challenges or failures, or his surrogates who co-opted what was given and, started their own things, like from what he was teaching them, became his competitors or undermined him. He was thoughtful and empathetic and rebuked with a felt love, believing in the person he's guiding. He didn't want anyone to feel left out, and he inspired people to dedicate their life to something. He accepted everyone who was willing to be part of and contribute something, and he gave a palpable righteous energy to everyone in the room, a fulfillment. While we eat something we enjoy, we can eat and eat for a long time, but when we are achieving with nothing in the mouth after a few minutes, when we are chewing with nothing in the mouth, after a few minutes, it's difficult. Like try just chewing, but when there's no food, it's very hard. But if there's actually food, we can keep chewing. So everything's going to be okay, or I'm connected, reflects the ability that we can maintain. Everything's going to be okay. I'm connected. Presence can wipe the worries from the mind. When we're constantly trying to earn our, always provided blessings as vessels, it's a never-ending intellectual pursuit, a denial of the chronic sense of instability, unreliability, or acceptance. Putting full effort and sharing freely are ways to cope with feelings unworthy and doubt, but we look at it like we don't have to reserve anything for later. We don't have to try to reason our way out of work, and we don't have to hold on to the bigger portion just in case, reminding again what I started here. There's this idea like there's still a loneliness of never feeling the same way. So the example I gave was, even though there's a backdrop, like woman should be seen and not heard, Monica Berg spoke first as a woman at the event that they were gathered for Rav Berg. So we can recognize being in this current state of life where the woman often does go first. It's like we have to catch up sometimes with our blessings, right? So anyway, we don't have to say like, oh, just in case for later. Like the woman has to try to fight to talk. But no, she's given the first place. So we all have to internalize that. We can't hide it when we're overwhelmed with life. We can only receive unlimited blessing with complete humility. I don't deserve any of it. Saying I don't at all deserve any of this, while at the same time doing everything I possibly can, using all my might. And someone can be perceived as a giant beyond their physical height or stature. And when we ask deep questions and we listen, it's better than telling someone what to do with, because it gives us the ability to tap into the inner godliness, the inner truth that our soul directs us with. They feel deeply listened to. They feel heard. They start to hear from that deep place. They start to listen to their self. And there's a story from 2001 where the Rav said for Hazinu portion, remember, Lag BaOmer, when we read how the great fire encircled Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's house and they were writing his teachings, Rabbi Aya couldn't even come close, and Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's last word was life. So when people die, it's really an illusory consciousness. Death is a thick curtain preventing the human landscape from seeing the righteous souls here with us. When we plant an unwavering seed that death isn't real, it allows for science to catch up. And we know there's a lot of that coming out. Our job is to fill up with life and share the light, to fill up with light and share the light with everyone around us. And think of my ideal self. Married, employed, healthy. I need fortification from the inside. I need encouragement. I crave a baby. And then I took it deeper. I went it's recommended to journal, to process some of our experiences. So on my roof, when I was saying Kiddush Shemana, I want to just add that this Kabbalah Center meeting, this gathering, was years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. And I was, not that many years ago. And then what I was writing about was also, so on my roof, I was saying Kiddush Levana, which is sanctification of the new moon each month. I saw a feather after I passed the spot. I set it on the way back in. I noticed a tiny tree on what probably has been a kind of chimney, a raised column of bricks that was taller than the huge tree of the courtyard, over the roof of a 6th-floor building. That also requires steps to enter the first floor, plus the roof light, and there's high ceilings as well. So there's high ceilings, there's 6 floors, and to get to the first floor, you have to go up a little bit. So it's really like half a flight to the first floor, and then to the 2nd floor, to the 3rd floor, to the 4th floor, 3rd floor, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, plus a flight to the roof. So there's 6 flights, not just, so it's like 7 floors up, plus that little short part to get to the first floor. So it's like 7.5 flights, and there's high ceilings, and there's a tree growing taller than that. And then there's a small tree on a chimney on the roof that's actually taller. So I remember seeing this tiny plant growing and marveling, how did the seed get there? It was like 2 months ago. Oh, here, see, I wrote, today was October 6th. It's going to be October 7th on Friday after Yom Kippur, 2022, 5783. So actually it's about 1.5 years ago. I overestimated. The 10-day New Year process is downloading. And what's interesting is this year there was October 7. There was actually a massacre of the Jewish people in Israel. So I guess that's why I wrote the dates. Interesting. I learned in school at a Jewish institution for girls in Crown Heights called Beis Rivka that in Mashiach times it will be very small, standing on the shoulders of the previous generations of giants. And finally, I'm going to share now something like the origins of Gehinnom. This is not from the Kabbalah Center. This is Gay Ben Hinnom is Gay Hinnom, the valley of the son of Hinnom, south of Mount Zion. At the border were Judah and Benjamin. That's from Joshua 15:8, Yoshua, from the book. In the late First Temple period, site of the Tophet, where worshippers engage in a ritual involving passing a child through fire, most likely child sacrifice, traditionally ascribed to be for this like deity. I'm doing quotes because like obviously it's not a god. Moloch, and King Josiah destroyed the Tophet, but Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Isaiah still mention it. So the practices are said to have persisted even in Kings 2. And the Phoenicians, the Canaanites in the Bible did it, and Carthage, now Tunisia, according to the Hellenistic sources. So Fate is a large cemeteries of children they found at the Carthaginian sites. But in the Bible, it's designated a place of ritual fire, burning. King Mesha of Moab burns his firstborn son as a burnt offering to win the war against Israel for Chemosh, which is like, Chemosh is like their god. Cronus is deified as the Saturn posthumously, aka maybe Elis. So he sacrificed his son Ladud when great war danger affected the country, and aka Baal Haman, weather god, with his consort Tanit, the face of Baal. Some say these are like them serving idols, really. Some say this is foreign worship, alien worship. Some say Maloch or Malcolm was really Malach, which is like sacrifice in the Punic language, the Western Phoenicians, as depicted as bullheaded, depicted with ram's horns. And it could be that's why people started to say like Jews had horns, because it was all mixed up. And obviously Jews don't. But some people say it was actually to serve God, which the non-Jewish people might call Yahweh, which is just a strange way of trying to say the letters. But it's not the way we pronounce God's name. That's not how it's pronounced. And we're not even supposed to pronounce it. The way that Avram and Yiftach were giving up their beloved child, and King Achaz and King Menashe did it in Kings 2. And I'll stop here. It's interesting information, but a lot to process. I wish you well. Have a good night. Bye. A good day. Good day and a good night. Bye.